Let's break this down in a way that's clear and focuses on what's actually shaping the headlines and strategic thinking right now. When we talk about military strength, especially in a region as volatile as the Middle East, it's easy to fall into alarmist narratives. But the real story isn't black and white, it's about capabilities, limitations, strategy, and perception. First, let's talk numbers vs. technology. Iran definitely fields a very large force on paper. Its missile inventory is extensive, with systems that can reach far beyond its borders, and its investment in drones has given it a low-cost but disruptive tool in conflicts. These drones aren't just domestically used, they're exported, copied, and fought against globally, from Ukrainian skies to Gulf airspace. But here's where context matters. The potency of a military isn't just in having a lot of weapons. It's about how effective those weapons are against the best defenses on the planet, and both the US and Israel have some of those defenses. Israel's advanced air force and multi-layered missile defense systems, and America's superior technology in surveillance, air power, and naval assets still give them a qualitative edge. That said, Iran has adapted. Its strategic focus has shifted toward asymmetric warfare, meaning it tries to offset superior technology by leveraging large drone swarms, underground missile bases, cyber tools, and proxies across the region. This makes it harder for opponents to achieve quick, decisive victories, and that's where some analysts have said Iran's strategy shocks its rivals, not because Iran suddenly outguns them, but because it doesn't fight like a traditional army. Now, in the latest escalation, Iran's use of drones and ballistic missiles and reporting of advanced systems like hypersonic missiles has forced even sophisticated militaries to rethink how they defend against sheer numbers and novel tactics. Even powerful air defenses can be stretched when faced with waves of inexpensive drones or unpredictable targets. It's also crucial to understand regional politics. Iran's influence through allied groups in Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, and Syria multiplies its reach. That's why Israel and the US don't just calculate Tehran's conventional force, they also account for indirect threats through proxy combatants. So when you hear headlines about Iran's military strength shocking the US and Israel, remember this isn't about Iran suddenly having the biggest or most advanced army. It's about strategic adaptation, where Iran uses its resources in ways that complicate traditional military planning, and where its capacity to launch missiles, drones, and proxy operations forces rivals to expend time, money, and energy on defense and retaliation. And herein lies a key lesson: military power is as much about strategy, innovation, and unpredictability as it is about sheer firepower. Understanding this helps explain why global powers take Tehran seriously, not because they're suddenly weaker, but because the strategic calculus has changed. Iran's missile arsenal is widely regarded as one of the most significant in the Middle East, and it serves as the backbone of the country's military strategy. Unlike conventional armies that rely heavily on large troop deployments or advanced air forces, Iran has invested decades into developing a diverse range of missiles, from short-range systems that can hit targets within neighboring countries to medium and long-range ballistic missiles capable of striking deeper into the region. This approach allows Iran to maintain a strategic deterrent, signaling to potential adversaries that any direct attack could come with significant consequences. The missile program itself is a combination of indigenous development and adaptations of foreign designs, allowing for a mix of solid, fuel, and liquid fuel missiles that offer flexibility in deployment and readiness. Importantly, Iran has created mobile missile launch platforms that make it more difficult for adversaries to track and preemptively destroy these assets, increasing their survivability in any conflict scenario. The variety of warheads, from conventional high explosive to potential tactical payloads, adds to the complexity facing opposing militaries, requiring sophisticated detection, interception, and defense measures. Analysts also note that the speed and range of some of Iran's newer systems are designed to overwhelm or bypass traditional missile defense networks, creating a credible threat even to technologically superior forces. Beyond the hardware itself, the integration of missile units into the broader Iranian military and Revolutionary Guard strategy ensures rapid deployment and coordinated targeting. These capabilities are not only about offense, but also about creating a psychological impact, projecting power, and signaling resilience. The missile arsenal effectively acts as both a deterrent and a bargaining tool, shaping diplomatic negotiations and regional calculations. Over time, the modernization of these systems has been incremental but consistent, reflecting both a long-term vision and a practical approach to countering regional rivals. Iran's investment in drone technology has become a central component of its military strategy, representing a shift toward modern, cost, and highly flexible methods of projecting power. Over the past decade, the country has developed a wide range of unmanned aerial systems, from small surveillance drones to larger combat-capable models capable of carrying explosives or precision-guided munitions. These drones allow Iran to conduct reconnaissance, monitor borders, and even strike targets with minimal risk to personnel, offering a level of operational flexibility that traditional air forces cannot match. One of the most notable aspects of Iran's drone program is its focus on scalability and adaptability. The Shade series, for example, has been deployed not only within Iran, but also by allied groups in regional conflicts, demonstrating both its exportability and its role in asymmetric warfare. Drone technology also enables Iran to challenge air defense systems by creating multiple, simultaneous threats that can overwhelm radar detection or interception efforts. In many cases, drones can loiter over contested areas for extended periods, providing real-time intelligence and the ability to adjust targeting on the fly, which enhances the effectiveness of both conventional and proxy forces. The program is further supported by an increasing emphasis on domestic production and innovation, allowing Iran to circumvent international restrictions and reduce dependence on foreign technology. Analysts point out that this focus on unmanned systems reflects a broader trend in modern military strategy, where low-cost, high-impact tools are used to counterbalance more technologically advanced adversaries. Beyond their tactical applications, drones have also become symbolic instruments of power projection, signaling Iran's ability to operate across borders and challenge regional rivals in unexpected ways. Complicating strategic calculations for both Israel and the United States, Iran's use of regional proxies is one of the most significant elements of its military and strategic influence in the Middle East. Rather than relying solely on conventional forces, Iran has built a network of allied and proxy groups across multiple countries, allowing it to extend its reach without committing large numbers of troops directly. These proxies include groups such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, various militias in Iraq, armed factions in Syria, and the Houthis in Yemen. Through these networks, Iran can project power in ways that traditional military campaigns cannot easily achieve, creating multiple points of influence and complicating the strategic calculations of its adversaries. The relationships between Iran and these groups are multifaceted, combining financial support, training, weapon transfers, and political guidance. In many cases, the proxies operate independently while still aligning with Tehran's broader strategic objectives, providing Iran with plausible deniability in regional conflicts and allowing it to act indirectly against opponents like Israel, Saudi Arabia, or U.S. forces. This approach also enables Iran to maintain a persistent presence in conflict zones, influence local politics, and deter external military action by raising the potential costs of engagement. Analysts highlight that these proxy networks are particularly effective in asymmetrical warfare as they allow Iran to use unconventional tactics, including guerrilla-style attacks, drone and missile strikes, and cyber operations, without the same level of exposure faced by a conventional army. The spread of such networks also creates a layered security challenge for nations like Israel, which must defend against both direct threats from Iran and indirect threats from its allies on multiple fronts. Over time, the use of proxies has become an integral part of Iran's broader military doctrine, allowing it to maintain regional influence, challenge rival powers, and complicate traditional military responses by creating decentralized, adaptive threats. When assessing Iran's military strength, one of the most immediate factors to consider is the sheer size of its armed forces. Compared to neighboring countries, Iran maintains a large active military, with hundreds of thousands of personnel across both the regular army and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. This numerical advantage provides Iran with significant manpower for both conventional operations and regional influence missions, including border security, internal stability, and support for allied forces abroad. While Israel and some other regional powers have smaller standing forces, Iran's larger numbers allow for a sustained presence in multiple theaters, including land, air, and naval operations, and create the capacity to absorb losses while maintaining operational capability. However, raw numbers do not always equate to battlefield dominance. Israel, for example, has fewer troops but relies on highly trained units, advanced technology, precision air power, and sophisticated intelligence networks, giving it qualitative advantages that can offset Iran's numerical superiority. The Iranian military structure also integrates conscripted forces alongside professional units, which provides flexibility for both rapid mobilization and long-term defense planning. In addition, Iran has invested in asymmetric strategies including missile forces, drone fleets, and proxy networks to multiply the impact of its manpower and extend its reach without necessarily engaging in direct confrontation. Analysts note that while Iran's large force size can be intimidating on paper, its effectiveness depends on factors like training, logistics, coordination, and leadership, as well as the ability to sustain operations against modern, technologically advanced adversaries. The combination of size and strategic deployment allows Iran to project influence across the region, maintain deterrence, and complicate the military calculations of rivals, creating a situation where the threat is not just the number of troops, but how those forces are integrated with technology, proxies, and long-range capabilities. In recent years, Iran has undertaken a deliberate and steady effort to modernize its military, reflecting both strategic necessity and a desire to maintain regional influence. This modernization push includes upgrades to missile systems, drones, air defense networks, and naval capabilities aimed at enhancing both deterrence and operational effectiveness. One of the key drivers behind this process is the recognition that neighboring adversaries, including Israel and technologically superior powers like the United States, possess advanced military tools that require Iran to continuously adapt. Modernization is not limited to acquiring new hardware, it also involves improving command and control systems, integrating electronic warfare capabilities, and developing domestic manufacturing to reduce reliance on foreign suppliers. By investing in research, development, and testing, Iran has been able to produce increasingly sophisticated weapons that can challenge regional defense networks. Analysts note that Iran's modernization approach is incremental but consistent, prioritizing systems that maximize cost effectiveness while creating strategic uncertainty for opponents. For example, the development of more precise and longer-range missiles, the introduction of advanced drone models, and improvements in cyber and electronic warfare reflect a shift toward asymmetric strategies that leverage innovation over sheer numbers. This approach also allows Iran to demonstrate resilience despite economic sanctions and international pressure, signaling to both domestic and regional audiences that it can sustain military growth under challenging circumstances. Another element of this modernization push is training and readiness. The Iranian military has reportedly increased the frequency and complexity of exercises, testing new strategies, and ensuring forces can operate in a coordinated manner under high-pressure scenarios. Through this combination of technological upgrades, tactical refinement, and strategic planning, Iran aims to strengthen its military posture, maintain a credible deterrent, and create capabilities that can complicate calculations for adversaries, ensuring that it remains a central player in regional security dynamics. The escalation in 2026 marks a significant moment in Iran's military posture and regional dynamics, reflecting both evolving capabilities and heightened tensions with adversaries. In recent months, Iran has reportedly deployed a mix of ballistic missiles, drones, and advanced weapon systems, including discussions about hypersonic missiles, which has forced neighboring countries and global powers to reassess the balance of power in the region. These escalations are not limited to direct military action. They also include strategic signaling through military exercises, public demonstrations of new technology, and increased coordination with allied groups in neighboring countries. Analysts note that these moves are designed to project strength, deter attacks, and reinforce Iran's influence across multiple theaters of operation. The use of drone swarms, often in combination with missile launches, demonstrates a deliberate focus on asymmetric tactics aimed at overwhelming defenses or creating strategic uncertainty. This combination of modernized weapons and unconventional strategies has caused concern among both the United States and Israel, who must now consider not only traditional military threats but also complex hybrid scenarios involving drones, proxies, and missile attacks. Furthermore, the escalation in 2026 highlights the growing sophistication of Iran's command and control capabilities, allowing for rapid decision-making, coordination across different units, and effective deployment of diverse military assets in high-stakes situations. Regional observers emphasize that this pattern of escalation serves multiple purposes, strengthening deterrence, testing the readiness of adversaries, and solidifying domestic perceptions of military strength. It also underscores Iran's broader strategic approach, which balances direct military capability with indirect influence through allies, electronic warfare, and emerging technologies. As these tensions unfold, the situation demonstrates that modern military power is not solely about numbers or firepower, but about adaptability, strategic signaling, and the ability to combine traditional and unconventional methods to achieve political and military objectives. When you step back and look at the full picture, Iran's military strength isn't just about missiles, drones, troop numbers, it's about strategy, adaptation, and influence. The combination of advanced missile systems, expanding drone capabilities, large and coordinated forces, modernized technology, and an extensive network of regional proxies creates a multi-layered threat that rivals cannot ignore. What makes this particularly significant is that Iran has structured its military to operate both conventionally and unconventionally, blending high-tech weaponry with asymmetric tactics that challenge traditional defense thinking. For the US and Israel, this isn't simply a matter of counting planes or tanks. It's about understanding how Iran leverages its resources to create deterrence, project power, and complicate every strategic decision across the region. The 2026's escalations illustrate that Iran's approach is proactive, flexible, and designed to test and pressure adversaries in ways that extend beyond direct combat. Ultimately, the situation underscores a larger lesson about modern military power is as much about innovation, adaptability, and psychological impact as it is about sheer numbers. Recognizing this complexity is crucial for anyone trying to make sense of Middle Eastern security dynamics, as it shows why Iran continues to command attention and why regional and global actors must constantly evolve their strategies in response.